Welcome to Living Magically for the week of June 9th. And what a beautiful, powerful full moon we've got coming in this week. And it's called the Strawberry Moon, and it's the full moon in Sagittarius. So this week, the energy has a lot of potency, a lot of potential, and you too have potential. And I'm just going to that's kind of what I'm going to call this video is that everything with everything starting this year over starting from scratch and it's building on a foundation of years of your skills, knowledge, and experience, but it's still a new beginning. And this full moon has that potency. So what's happening is that first we have this solar energy going on. We're almost at the summer solstice, at least for the northern hemisphere. That means the sun is huge in the sky. It is taking over most of the day, and it is the shortest day of the year coming up on the 21st of this month. We'll talk about that next week. But we also have the planet of expansion, Jupiter, which has now moved into Cancer. And that's going to change a lot of things. We're going to be expanding in a new place. So of course, it's going to affect Cancers more than anyone else. Or if you have your moon, your rising, wherever Cancer lives in your chart, it's going to expand that area. But most importantly, everyone's going to feel this expansion because it's a really lovely transit with this Sagittarius full moon. So solar flares are happening and the sky is filled with the sunlight right now, and we have a lot of that solar energy. But Cancer rules the moon, and it's more earthy, and it's more home and family, and it's also water. So here we have fire and sun and solar and moon and earth and water. So we have this sort of this juxtaposition, and we're still in Gemini, which is air. So the good news about this is we're really balancing all the elements. And what I'm going to lean in for you is, how do you balance yourself? What do you need for full on balance? Are you over here doing too much in one area and then neglecting this area? Are you over here doing too much over here and neglecting that area? So check in. Now is an amazing time for a little review. And I have a couple of these. One is what I would call a life review. And for some of you, there's been so much change in your lives, a full life review is in order. And for some of you, it's just more of a shifting of energy on where to put my focus right now. So I would call this a right now review. And so, so both of them are on the table for this season, because 2025 changes every single planet to be stationed in a different place than it did. This year will change us all. June, however, is one of the luckiest months of the entire year. There's a lot of joy in this month. And so if you're feeling like hopeful again for maybe the first time in a long time, you're feeling this Gemini, happiness, you have this Gemini thoughts and Gemini movement all the way until the 21st, which is when it'll move into Cancer. But right now we're in this review period. Gemini is a mind, and it can be two states of mind where you might feel good one minute and not good another. You might feel like you are clear over here, but not clear over there. And so right now, you have the perfect timing to do and sit and be and talk talk about your plans with other people. It's a great time for cooperation. It's a great time for just having a good time. So if you're going on vacation or throwing a party or spending quality time with a loved one, friend, family, or even a coworker, if there's a work retreat going on, now is a wonderful time for that expression. And it's a great time to build stronger bonds, a great time to really see how can you expand your self in your home life. How can you expand yourself in your financial sector? How can you expand yourself in your creative endeavors? And what is looking to come through you? What is looking to come for you? What is looking at making this a fun time for you? This Sagittarius full moon is gonna be fun. So if you've got plans, I'm gonna be in Ohio going to the homecoming, Minerva homecoming. So what are your plans for this full moon? Go out, be with friends, be with family. Go. It's a great time for ritual, and it's a great time for magic. So if I were doing some deep inner work, this is your crown. This is your time to decide who are you and what kind of crown are you going to place on your head? What kind of emperor or empress are you going to be? What empire are you building? What are you taking ownership of? What are you going to be solid and powerful and excited about? And if there's some steps that you're ready to take on a new project, this is a great time for it. We're only working with one planet, which is Pluto, which is a far outer reach planet in retrograde. So there's a lot of movement, there's a lot of forward motion, and there's a lot of fun to be had. Sagittarius is a fun sign. If you're looking at long-term travel, you're looking at short-term travel. So if you're taking a trip right now or in the month of June, this is a good time. This is a good time for fun. And if you're planning long-term travel, and as I said last week, there's still just a couple spaces on our trip to Egypt. Or maybe you've already been to Egypt and you'd like to do our add-on trip to Jordan and just meet us for a little trip to Petra. Reach out and I'll get you the information. This is definitely a time for transformation as well. So if you see your healer, your psychic, your friends, this is a great time to do that interpersonal work. It's a great time for big transformational healing. And one of the ways to do that is to forgive yourself. And I know you've heard me say that before, but this is like that place where if you're doing a life review or you're doing a where am I right now review. So there's looking at your whole life and then there's looking at what's on the table that isn't working right at this moment. If you're doing either one of those reviews, it might be that you have to accept where you are, accept what has happened. And so I have this philosophy that it's like a triangle. Some people have to forgive first, and some people have to accept first. Sometimes you have to accept before you can forgive, and sometimes you have to forgive before you can accept. But either way, if you can get to that place of let go, let yourself surrender, let yourself be in the bigger picture of what did I learn from this? Or what am I learning from this? What virtue am I attaching myself to? What is it that the universe is asking for me to be looking at? Or what do I need to surrender and turn over? Because anger lives in the body. And I just had a beautiful class. I was teaching Digging Deeper this week. And one of the things that we really talked about is how anger, even resentment, little grudges can be hidden behind spiritual people. And I don't consider this spiritual bypassing. I consider it we don't want to hold anger and we don't want to admit to our anger. And we want to think that we're better than being angry. But when we've been hurt, we hold a little piece of ourselves, and we maybe don't recognize it as anger. But if it's looping in our mind, if it's looping back to I don't trust this person, I'm interacting with them, I don't trust myself, there might be a little bit of healing more than you think. So I'm working with some people right now that essentially right now we're on the elevated path. So this is a time where a lot of us have already done a lot of spiritual work. And to get to that next phase, we have to do even more work. We have to surrender even more. And I love the way Gabriella Bernstein states it in her book, Universe Has Your Back. She has an entire chapter called When You Think You've Surrendered, Surrender Some More. And in this case, when you think you've forgiven, forgive some more. When you think you have um, when you think you've been accepting of something, but you don't want to get hurt again, forgive deeper, let go more, release the poison from your own body, from your mind, from your loop. And one of the ways I like to say that is I forgive you for not being who I needed you to be. And you can say that to yourself, like right in the mirror. My my number one place I have to forgive is myself. And this becomes an act of extreme self care. And sometimes we can't do this for ourselves. Sometimes it's a little harder to see where we're stuck. And that's a great time to do a deeper dive, do that review. What am I learning? What is it that my soul is yearning for? Because when we're in deep desire, our soul wants to move forward. And especially with this new transit of Jupiter in Cancer, meeting up with the Sagittarius full moon, we're going to see our soul deepening its desire. Our our soul is going to want to reach out to that purpose, that pleasure, that joy. And so any little stuck old energy is going to show up to the surface to be cleared, to be whisked away, to be let go of. And so whatever it is you need to do, maybe you need to write it down. Maybe you need to speak it out loud. Maybe you need to visualize letting it go. This is that time, and it's perfect. Right now is the perfect time for that deeper surrender for higher evolution, because we're evolving faster than we know what to do with. And the more negativity you get out of your body, out of your mind, out of giving time and space, this is why we clean our houses and we get rid of clutter, because the more clutter we get rid of, and anger and resentment and these things can be mind clutter, but even if it's physical clutter around your house, we want to get rid of all of that so that we have time and space for the expansion, right? So we're letting go of the old identity and we get stuck in these identities, these labels we've given ourselves, not just labels other people have given us, but labels that we have created. And so the new identity requires a little bit of work. So elevating and becoming better requires you to let go of that old version of you. And maybe it takes a little time and a little bit of real self review. And that's what I'm saying is happening right now. And if you feel like you can't do it alone, give me a message, send me a DM and or call me or whatever, however you reach me, whatever's best for you. Write a comment, send me a message, and let's do a little discovery call to see if working together might just be the next step in your journey. We also have a wonderful, fun 2-day experience Mecca and I, Mecca and Marissa will be doing a urban shamanism, elevated shaman immersion for the modern shaman transformation the first weekend of July when I get back to Florida. So we'll be doing that at the Urban Ashram, and it's going to be a wonderful experience. We've got a few slots for that left, so sign up um, quickly before those are gone. It's something we do only once or twice a year, so this is absolutely a must do because Mecca has a busier schedule than I do, and I'm a very busy girl. So to get the two of us together to create our magic and miracles is nearly a miracle. But I promise it's going to be a really transformational experience. With all of that, I will see you again next week, and we'll be talking about midsummer. Start manifesting, getting clear on what you're bringing in for the rest of this year. And I will see you next week. Live magically.